Hey, it's Wednesday, time for another action figure adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at some vintage toy pickups that I have been picking up recently. And the first item we have here is the Masters of the Universe Land Shark. This is a wacky vehicle, but fits perfectly in the Masters of the universe with vehicles that kind of seem like creatures, but are machines. It's got two laser cannons on each side. It's got fake treads with little wheels on the bottom so it can roll. And there's a little button inside here that makes it jump. I never had the Land Shark as a kid. My cousin had it, and I used to like to play with his when I would go to his house once in a while. But I'm happy to finally have one in my Masters of the Universe collection. Oh, and I got the instruction booklet to the Land Shark. Next, I picked up a Joe Armadillo Unit. This is a tiny mini tank, as they call it in G.I. Joe lore, that has 4 cannons on the front, spot for a guy in the driver's seat, as well as some pegs on the back. Always liked it as a kid, never had it as a kid, and I decided to army build it. The one is completely unstickered. Some collectors really like that look, but I always think it's kind of plain. I love the little United States and G.I. Joe logos and all that other fun stuff they put on these vehicles. Yeah, this one's missing his G.I. Joe on the tail, but this guy's got it. You never know what you get with decals on vintage toys. Every kid stickered their stuff differently. While I'm on the topic of G.I. Joe, I picked up this lift ticket action figure. I don't really need a lift ticket, but he was in really nice shape, and he was cheap. So I grabbed him. Lift ticket's the pilot to the G.I. Joe Tomahawk, my all-time favorite G.I. Joe vehicle. I picked up a Cobra Imp. This is a small Cobra tank. Has a seat for one guy with a little laser gun up there. It's got an elevating missile rack. And it has these 3 large missiles that can shoot off. And the warhead falls off. Oh, try not to make a mess. And all these little landmines fall off. These are kind of a pain to complete because of how many pieces they're made up of. And I had an Imp as a kid, don't own one currently, and when I saw it there, I was like, you know what, time to Imp up. Oh yeah, and I got the box to the Imp, which is pretty cool. I also picked up a Dreadnought Trike. This is a 3-wheeled motorcycle that the Dreadnoughts use. There's a seat for a driver here, a seat for a gunner back here. This is where the infamous Dreadnought logo comes from. It's got its missiles, it's got its gun. It did come with the side pieces. There's little red grates here, but I misplaced them. I'm not sure. They might be laying around here. I hope I didn't throw them out in the bag this stuff came home in. I'll look around. It is missing the pipes, though. It did not come with... There's little red pipes that connect down here for the exhaust, and it did not come with them. I bought a Tauntaun. This is a solid belly Tauntaun. I own a bunch of solid belly Tauntauns. But I bought him mainly because he's got a set of reins in his mouth there. And I'm trying to get like 1 or 2, maybe 3 complete Tauntauns. I'd be happy with that. But it's hard to find the saddles. It's hard to find the reins. So when I'm done getting my Luke and Han and maybe one for the Rebel Trooper or something like that, I'll have a bunch of leftover Tauntauns laying around. I bought a Marvel Secret Wars Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom was the first Secret Wars figure I had as a kid. I followed him up with Captain America. They were the only 2 Secret Wars figures I owned as a kid. He comes with a little blaster that can hook on here, and he has a bigger gun that can hook on his back. I always liked that he had the built-in jetpack. Mine is completely worn. All this detail is worn off of mine from playing with him. And so when I saw a nice, clean one, I figured I'd grab him. I picked up 3 Visionary action figures made by Hasbro. These guys all have cool holograms on their chest. I'm not really collecting Visionaries per se. I'm not really trying to get the whole line, every accessory and vehicle and stuff. But I do buy the figures when I see them loose, especially if they have the holograms. If they're missing the holograms, then I usually leave them. And added bonus, 2 of these guys had their helmets. I also picked up a G.I. Joe coloring and activity book. This is from 1982, so it features the original cast of Joes. About 6 of the pages on the inside have been colored in already, but it's still pretty nice. I picked up the 2 Sleestack figures from the 90s Land of the Lost toy line. I have almost all of the characters from Land of the Lost carded, and I was missing these 2. I still gotta find the T-Rex. The last item for today is a carded G.I. Joe Ninja Force Shadow Ninja Nunchuck figure, because every boy wanted a pink ninja action figure. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.